You know that feeling. You eat lunch, a sandwich maybe, something you've had 100 times, and 2 hours later you're slumped in your chair, staring at your screen, and your brain feels like it's wrapped in wet cotton. You're not sick. You're not tired exactly. You just can't think. And somewhere around 3 p.m. a craving starts. Something sweet, something fast, something now. So you eat again. And the whole cycle quietly resets. What if I told you that craving isn't weakness? That the fog, the crash, the relentless pull towards something sugary? None of it is your fault. It's your biology responding exactly the way it was trained to respond. And science has now built a pretty clear picture of the foods that drive that loop. Not opinions, not food trends. Actual mechanisms. The hormones involved. The gut pathways lit up. The inflammation triggered. Today, we're going through 10 of the worst offenders. Not to shame anyone, not to hand you a list of rules, but to finally show you what's actually happening inside your body when you eat them. Because once you see the mechanism, you can't unsee it. And that's where real change starts. Number 10. Refined seed oils. Canola, sunflower, soybean, corn. These are everywhere, in every restaurant fryer, in almost every packaged food. The problem isn't fat itself. The problem is that these oils are extraordinarily high in omega-6 fatty acids, and the ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 in the modern diet has gone from roughly 4.1 to somewhere between 20.1 and 40.1. That ratio matters because omega-6 in excess feeds inflammatory pathways, not imaginary inflammation. Real, cellular, systemic inflammation that shows up as joint aches, skin flares, brain fog, and over time, chronic disease risk. Your body uses these fats to build cell membranes. When the membrane is built from an inflammatory material, the cell behaves accordingly. Number 9. Artificial sweeteners. Here's the counterintuitive one. 0 calories, right? The research has a different story. A 2022 study published in Cell showed that saccharin and sucralose, two of the most common artificial sweeteners, significantly altered gut microbiome composition in human subjects in just 2 weeks. Altered in ways that impaired glucose tolerance. The sweetness signal hits your tongue, your brain anticipates sugar, insulin begins to respond, and then nothing arrives. Over time, some research suggests this mismatch dysregulates the body's satiety signaling. You eat something sweet and feel less full than you should. The craving loop doesn't close. Number 8. Processed deli meats. The sodium alone is staggering, often 700 to 1,000 milligrams in a few thin slices. But the bigger issue is the nitrates used as preservatives, which convert in the body to nitrosamines, compounds with consistent links to colorectal cancer in the research literature. The World Health Organization classified processed meats as Group 1 carcinogens in 2015. That doesn't mean a single sandwich causes cancer. Dose matters. What it means is that the mechanism is established, it's real, and it compounds with frequency. Number 7. Flavored yogurts. This one stings because yogurt sounds healthy, and it can be. Plain, fermented, full-fat yogurt is genuinely good for the gut. But the flavored version? A single small container often contains 20 to 26 grams of added sugar. That's more than half a can of soda. The sugar overwhelms whatever probiotic benefit the base yogurt might have offered. And because the brain reads it as healthy, the portion regulation that might kick in with a candy bar simply doesn't. Perceived health of a food changes how much of it we eat. That's not speculation. It's documented in the nutrition research as the health halo effect. Number 6. White bread and refined flour products. The glycemic index of white bread is roughly equivalent to pure table sugar. When you eat it, your blood glucose spikes fast and hard. Insulin floods in response. The spike collapses. What follows? That crash, that fog, that 3 p.m. gravitational pull toward the vending machine, is your blood sugar bottoming out and your body screaming for glucose. Do this repeatedly, day after day, and insulin resistance can quietly develop over years. The cells stop listening to insulin as clearly. The pancreas compensates by producing more. And eventually, the whole system strains under its own load. Number 5. Sugary cereals. Most people eat cereal in servings 2 to 3 times the labeled portion size. The labeled portion is often already 12 grams of sugar. The actual bowl is closer to 35. Pair that with skim milk, which digests fast and adds its own glycemic punch. And you've started your day with a blood sugar spike that will resolve into a crash before 10 a.m. And then here's the compounding problem. Breakfast sets the hormonal tone for your appetite all day. A high sugar start triggers higher hunger hormones, specifically ghrelin, throughout the rest of the day. You're not hungry more often because you lack willpower. You're hungry more often because your morning literally programmed your hormones to be. Number 4. Fast food and ultra-processed combinations. The fries plus the burger plus the soda isn't just 3 bad things. It's a combination that hits dopamine signaling, blood sugar, sodium-driven water retention, and gut bacteria all at once. Ultra-processed foods in general are engineered, quite deliberately, for what food scientists call hyperpalatability, a sensory experience calibrated to suppress satiety signals and prolong eating. The research on ultra-processed foods and all-cause mortality has become some of the most consistent in nutritional epidemiology. The mechanism is multi-pronged: inflammation, gut dysbiosis, blood sugar dysregulation, and the displacement of fiber-rich whole foods. Number 3. Alcohol. Even moderate drinking impairs sleep architecture. It suppresses REM sleep, which is where emotional processing, memory consolidation, and growth hormone release happen. Growth hormone matters for muscle repair and fat metabolism. A single drink can reduce REM sleep by up to 24%. Beyond sleep, alcohol is metabolized as a toxin. The liver prioritizes clearing it above everything else, including fat metabolism. While you're processing alcohol, fat burning essentially stops. And regular consumption depletes B vitamins, disrupts the gut microbiome, and raises cortisol, the stress hormone that signals the body to hold on to abdominal fat. Number 2. Sugary drinks. Liquid calories are among the most dangerous in the diet. Not because they're more harmful per calorie, but because the body doesn't register them as food. Solid food triggers satiety signals. Liquid sugar doesn't. You drink 250 calories of soda and your hunger doesn't change. So those calories stack on top of whatever you were going to eat anyway. A single daily soda habit, all else equal, adds roughly 15 pounds of caloric surplus per year before compensation. And the fructose in high fructose corn syrup is metabolized primarily in the liver, where excess converts directly to fat. Specifically the visceral fat that wraps around internal organs and drives cardiovascular disease risk. Number 1. Trans fats and their hidden modern descendants. Artificial trans fats were largely banned in the United States by 2020 and phased out in many countries. But partially hydrogenated oils still appear in trace amounts in some processed baked goods, microwave popcorn, and international products. And even where the label reads 0 trans fats, the rules allow rounding down from amounts below 0.5 grams per serving. The mechanism is damning. Trans fats raise LDL cholesterol, lower HDL, trigger systemic inflammation, and damage the endothelial lining of blood vessels. There is genuinely no safe threshold in the research. The effect is dose-dependent and cumulative. This is the one food category where the science has moved beyond associated with risk to something much closer to this is the mechanism, this is the harm. So there it is. 10 foods, 10 mechanisms. Not speculation, not headlines, but the actual biology of what these things do once they're inside you. None of this is about never eating anything. None of it is about shame. The body is extraordinarily resilient. It adapts. It repairs. What you choose to put in it more often than not is what shapes the hormonal environment, the gut ecosystem, the inflammatory baseline that you're living inside every single day. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these surprised you most? Drop it in the comments, and tell me which one you're going to start pulling back on first. I'll be in there with specific swaps, real alternatives, and the science behind why those swaps actually work. The goal isn't deprivation. The goal is understanding your own body well enough to give it what it's actually asking for.